Silver is bursting with enthusiasm as it soars well above $50 an ounce, and this could be just the beginning, as we very well might be at the cusp of silver breaking another nominal record high. I'll explain why this could happen in this video as we explore. Oh, how quickly things have changed. And I tell you, I have been wrong about two different things right now. I didn't think that we would see silver's price or any precious metal go up after talks of a government shutdown ending. That's number one. And number two, I didn't think we would see $50 silver this soon. Now, I did leave it open that it was quite possible we could see it happen by the end of the year. But I tell you what, a lot has changed very, very quickly. And it just goes to show you how volatile the silver market is. I'm going to be referencing first a piece here by Kitco, by Jim Wyckoff, about what's happening with the gold and silver prices moving up so dramatically. But I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals, who buy and sell precious metals to you. A great company for sure. Check them out when you get a chance by clicking on the link in the description below and experience the great customer service for yourself. Now, gold and silver prices are sharply up today, with gold hitting a 2-week high and silver a 3-week peak. Notions the U.S. government may be close to reopening have boosted the precious metal markets. That's crazy to think about, but that is exactly what's happening. And the angle of the resumption of U.S. economic data flows that will provide better odds of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut in December. So that is the thinking there, that they're thinking that data are going to support that and increase those odds. But I think there's something else that's going on. I'm going to get into that momentarily. Now, those data flows will provide those odds, and we'll see what happens. But the U.S. Senate on Sunday voted 60-40 on a procedural measure to advance a bill to end the federal government shutdown, with a group of moderate Democrats breaking with their party leaders to support the deal. The bill's passage in the House of Representatives is not guaranteed due to opposition from Democratic leaders. The deal falls short of goals of the House and Senate Democratic leaders, who had demanded an extension of expiring Obamacare subsidies. And the reason why Obamacare subsidies are needed is because Obamacare is so expensive. It is the exact opposite of the Affordable Care Act. Government creates problems, of which the only solution is government action. Go figure. But nonetheless, we elect these politicians and they do this, and it has people scrambling. This is why people are suffering right now. They secured a pledge from Republicans to vote on a bill to renew what was known as Obamacare, not anymore though, by mid-December. The Senate adjourned until later today and then has not rescheduled a vote for final passage. It's not yet clear how quickly the shutdown can end, although I heard talk that it could happen on Thursday. Nonetheless, this is what's happening as we talk about how even domestic politics can play a role in silver and gold prices. In fact, what are silver and gold prices, and what are the prices for the other metals as well too? Silver is the clear winner of the day. It is now up 4.75%, 1 cent shy of the session high of $50.65. It is now sitting at $50.64, and the bid price is $50.52. So that's a $2.29 increase today, an explosion in price. And by the way, an explosion in price, essentially, in my mind, it's a dramatic move in one day of 4% or more. And a surge in price would be 2% or more. No question about it. Silver had a radical move today in today's trading session. That's how I measure it. Of course, there are going to be some that are going to come in and not watch this far into the video to get what I'm talking about. So they'll say it's not an explosion, only went up $2.29. And also, when I mentioned earlier that I was wrong, well, I've been right as well, more often than I was wrong. And but nonetheless, that's part of what you do. You watch data, you move data move, and what's going on in the sentiment. And things can come out of left field, especially with what I'm going to be sharing with you here later in the video. By the way, not only am I going to be sharing you more information about why silver's price moves so much more than gold, I'm going to be sharing with you some silver pickups I got recently too. and deciding what to do with those silver pickups in terms of where to store them. So we'll get to that in a moment here. So this is pretty amazing. Now, what is happening here? What is the other thing that we're talking about here that I think has had a more dramatic impact on silver's price? Because, in a normal bull and bear market, silver acts more wildly than gold. And today is obviously no exception, but it is far surpassed to the point where it has almost doubled in its performance gain, because gold is only up 2.83%. Still, that's $113.10 gain for gold, where it's sitting at $4,114.70 right now. Pretty amazing. Platinum is up 2.5%, up $39 to almost $1,600 again. It's at $1,592. The session high was at $1,601. Palladium went up 3%. It was the second best performing metal today, up $41 to $1,446. So there it is. Rhodium did not move today. The gold to silver ratio has narrowed now to 81.42. So Profits Plus ID had a post about what happened today, which is really interesting to see a reversal taking place in the exchange for physical spread. It went from 15 cents contango, which means that the futures price is higher than spot, and that really is a sense of normalcy. It's what we're used to seeing. That had occurred last night. But then later today, earlier in the day, it went in the opposite direction dramatically. 16 cents into backwardation, where the spot price was 16 cents higher than the futures price. Part of this could be that the futures role or momentum players coming back into the precious metal markets via options and derivatives. Gold and silver volatility is jumping again, and that has been bullish for the metals. That backwardation essentially is a trigger and a sign that there could be more supply chain issues for the metal. One thing is for sure, price reacts, and it reacts very, very quickly, measured in these dollars. But one thing is for sure, the value of the metal is something that is far surpasses just what price is, in my view. Silver has over 10,000 uses, and we know that it is a form of wealth outside of the system. And the price reflections we're seeing here, dramatic though they are, don't tell the whole story and the whole picture of what silver is. And I hope more stackers understand that. That's why we measure our wealth in ounces, not necessarily in dollars, which is why I believe in having diamond fists. That means holding tight to your silver. Yes, indeed. Buy low, hold high, as J.M. Lee says. That's really what it's about, folks. Now, that's your core stack. Obviously, you can have other parts of your stack that you do use to make money with, or for opportunities, or for emergencies, or what have you. Paying down your debts is so important. You could use your stack to do that. But I believe in having a strong core stack that will, always stay with you, a perma-stack, if you will. That's what it means to have a diamond fist. So it's very interesting to see what's going on behind the scenes here with this a tidbit of information that could play a pretty big role as what's going to happen in the coming days, weeks. But it's pretty interesting, and there has been some hints that perhaps maybe we could see more stress in the silver market, and that is quite possible. And some of that very well could play in part to what's going on with the government reopening. And by the way, that's not a sure thing yet. But also in terms of supply chain issues. We've got filling in gaps. Some of these people consider some of what's been happening as kind of band-aids to a larger, bigger problem with the supply chains. But that's what's going on there. So very, very fascinating. Now, the other thing is that what's going on in the world of trade with China and relationships there. The U.S. and China have suspended port fees on each other's ships for 1 year and paused probes into maritime practices. The Trump administration paused the probe into China's shipbuilding industry, and Beijing shelved its own investigation and put off special port fees in the U.S. vessels. So that should be good news for everything else but gold and silver. Gold and silver really should be falling because of that news, but they're not. Up dramatically today, both metals, but especially silver. So there it is. What a day this has been, an explosion of price. And again, if we still continue to see what was reported with regards to the backwardation and contango situation and that big moving around there, and other issues with supply chains and great demand for silver because people saw opportunities when the prices were a little bit lower, and now they're seeing it go up again, and especially if they pile on based off of fear in the derivative space, well, that's going to cause the price to go up, and we could see it revisit that $54.50 high again, or tied for the all-time high, based off of an old measure that was done back in 1980, as I talked about in a prior video. But one thing is for sure, silver is a metal that is going to do what it's going to do. And remember, anything above $45 silver is a victory for silver stackers. That's right. I know that seems like that's over $5 away from where we're at right now. But keeping above $45 means that we're gathering new support, especially after silver's been listed as a critical mineral. And some of that, I think, is playing a role as well in the price of silver. So, forgot to share with you my silver pickups. More Winged Liberty dimes. And I'm trying to get some of these that were some of the best condition. Thankfully, my local coin shop will allow me to cherry pick them. And was able to get some fairly nice ones, but I don't know if they're nice enough to put in my tube of uncirculated ones. Some of these are, some of these are not. So I'm going to have to pick and choose which one I'm going to do and put them in there. I think maybe 2 or 3 might make it, others maybe not so. But nonetheless, these I got for right around spot or a little bit under. And it's nice to be able to get very nice high quality Mercury Winged Liberty dimes for that price. And so pleased to add them to the stack. Let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.